you all hear me? So I'm reading from my middle grade project, which is about kids growing up in Kentucky in a community where they don't even have like the language for exploring their own queerness yet. So the two characters that you'll see here are two best friends who are camping out on the last day of 7th grade, as is their tradition, and 7th grade has been a rough year, as it is for many of us. On the last day of 7th grade, the day before the night when Joel Gallagher disappeared, Rudy Thomas called him the Word. He'd said it before, earlier in the year, before I knew what that word meant. I'd had to look it up in the huge unabridged dictionary my mom keeps in the den, the one that's almost a foot thick, bigger than the Bible. I was afraid to Google something I instinctively knew was a swear. The word starts with an F, and when Rudy Thomas said it, it came out like a 1-2 punch. That word, I learned from the dictionary, is an offensive term for a person who's gay. I knew what gay meant, at least, even if I only knew from bits and pieces. No one ever talked about it outright, at least not with me. I knew it from NPR segments on the radio in the car, ones that always made my mom change the station quickly. I knew it from things kids at school whispered about Mari's moms. I knew it from throwaway lines in Father Jacob's homilies at Mass when once in a blue moon he would list off homosexuality as one of many corruptions of the world, something off the straight and righteous path as good Catholics. So Rudy Thomas's word was ugly, and what it meant was worse. I knew the word was bad because of the way Rudy Thomas hurled it, like something barbed and poisoned, and I knew what it meant was bad because everyone else just didn't really talk about it at all. That night in the woods, on the last day of 7th grade, as Joel and I sat by our campfire, Joel didn't say the word. He didn't say words for what it meant either. The more he talked, though, the more the words clouded around him, poking holes through his sentences. He doesn't know what he's talking about, Joel said, breaking pieces off a dead tree branch and tossing them one by one into our campfire. I'm not that. He doesn't even know what... He ran out of stick pieces to throw. He tangled his hands into the dark curls of his hair instead. I'm not, he said, without saying what he wasn't. I'd know, right? I can't be. He doesn't know what he's talking about, I said, because I honestly didn't know what to say. I like girls, you know? He sounded truly frantic now. I like girls. I believe you, I said. And I did. I believed him even as the words he said and the holes in his sentences made me feel like I was floating away, a raft cut loose in the current. We weren't supposed to talk about this. I did not want to talk about this. After I looked up Rudy Thomas's word that first afternoon, I felt a panicky flutter in my stomach. I'd felt that panic before during Father Jacob's homilies and during the clips on NPR. Once on the car radio, we caught a few lines about a person who everyone had thought was a boy, but it turned out she wasn't really. We caught part of an interview with her before my mom changed the station. And even after she flicked the dial over to Christian rock, even after I leaned my forehead against the window and let the vibrations of the car rattle my teeth, my stomach had kept fluttering and fluttering so hard I felt sick. There are things I don't know the rules for. The thoughts that had skittered through my brain that day in the car were skittering through again now, but I knew better than to reach for them. Joel and me, we're good Catholic folks, like his grandma always says. We stick to the straight and righteous path. Those other things, I suddenly noticed that Joel wasn't looking at the fire anymore. He was looking at me. I like you, he said then, and you're a girl. And then his face was moving toward mine, and without a chance to plan, without even a second to think, my face was pulling away from his, and my body was scrambling aside, and I only realized after this reaction had already happened, and after Joel's face had flickered into the wilted, dead-eyed expression I've always just called the hurt look, that he'd been about to try to kiss me. What are you doing? I said, even though I knew what he'd been doing. Joel's face was a wall, but I could see the cracks in it, ready to crumble down. You don't believe me, he said in an empty voice. And I didn't know how to say, I don't think you kissing me means what you think it means. And when Joel had said, and you're a girl, I didn't know how to say, am I though? Because I don't even know what that means. Not in the same way Mari or Tegan or Dakota or my mom seem to understand it. Being a girl is more rules I can't follow, words I can define in the dictionary but can't explain. I don't even know what being a girl means. Thank you.